Life.
What up, YouTube? It's your girl Dee. Welcome back to the channel. So I am back with another reaction video for you guys. Before we get into the video, make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you like the content, share and like the video, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. All right. So this video is titled "Plus Size Women Get Destroyed on Dating Apps, and This Is Why." Oh my God. Shout out to Cosmic Verse. We're gonna get into the video. Make sure you chime in the comments below. I want to know your thoughts on this one. So make sure you comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. Chime in. I definitely want to hear what you got to say. But let's go ahead and get into the video, y'all. Here we go.
The dating struggles for fat women continues. It's taking a toll on many of them as they can't seem to find a good man. By the way, if you are sensitive and emotional, this video may not be for you.
Remember how like a week ago, I told myself I would just like hit on a guy if I found him attractive? I still stand by that, but I also forgot that I'm fat. So the last 2 times that I've done this, they spend the rest of the night completely avoiding eye contact with me, as if like me finding them attractive is gonna make me like pounce on them. Last night I was at a bar and this bartender was like very handsome. So me drunkenly, it was like, "You're a handsome man." And he said, "Thank you." And then for the rest of the night proceeded to like avoid eye contact with me every time I walked by him. Like I would care, but I'm also not shocked. It's a hot second to hurt my feelings, especially when it's just like unsurprising.
Ouch!
I've officially deleted my dating apps after having them on my phone for literally 10 days of this year. I will not re-download them. I'm done. I'm not going to participate in the meat market, but I do need to go outside more. Dating as a plus size woman is really hard. It always has been. I'm not good at it. I'm like really not good at it. I've been single for a very long time because I'm so bad at it. I just don't even think I know how to date. So maybe I try that this year, like collectively. Maybe I look for events to go to, and maybe I just go outside when I'm bored. And the amount of times that I would have spent on an app, I can sit on a bench in Santa Monica. I literally have no idea, but I'll do it.
Many fat women struggle with this when it comes to dating. It's why she's probably been single for so long. The reality is, when these women go on dating apps, they don't get that many matches because that is not the preference for most men. It's probably why she deleted the dating apps and now trying to meet men in real life through events. And when dating apps stop working, reality hits harder. Apps remove ambiguity. You either get attention or you don't. For many of these women, the low match count is a clear signal, even if they don't want to accept it. That's
That voice. Oh my God, it's killing me. It's like, oh my God. I kind of laughed a little bit, but as a woman, right? And so I'll see like guys, you know, like if you go somewhere, you go out, you see guys that are big. You don't look at those guys as real potential possible dating mates. You know, you don't look at big overweight men as potential. You don't look at them as a possibility for you because you want a more fit guy like you. So I think that's how it must feel when these women are trying to date and they see attractive men and they're trying to get the attention of those men, and those men look over at them and just kind of like, yo, smile, you might be nice or cute or whatever, but they're not even thinking of you in an intimate, like serious way. They're looking at you, you know, as maybe if you're nice enough or whatever, maybe if you're cute, maybe it's somebody that they can have a good time with on the side, but they're not really looking at these women as real potential to actually build a life with. And that's sort of how it is. That a lot of, and I'm imagining that would be how they feel, you know, that these men aren't taking them seriously because they looking at you at, oh, you know, you're just a big girl, you know, you cool, but maybe we could hang out, but I'm not really trying to have children with you and marry you and build a life with you for the most part. I'm not saying that there aren't overweight people who aren't in marriage and relationships, because there are, but typically the ones who are in like marriages, they either started out smaller and then they got bigger together. You know what I mean? But to be out here looking to date somebody, you don't just go look at the biggest person in the room and be like, ooh, okay, I'm gonna take them. You know what I'm saying? That's just typical. That's sad, but it is what it is. You know, I would think it would be more ammunition to try to get healthier so that you can find somebody to take you seriously. I know that. I'm just saying but that's how I mean, looking at it, you know, as a woman looking at a big man, I'm not looking at him saying, you know, ooh, you could be for me. No, you know, it just don't happen like that for the most part. Let's continue.
usually when the narrative shifts from dating apps are toxic to I prefer real-life connections, but the underlying issue doesn't disappear. Men's preferences don't suddenly change offline. The same attraction rules still apply, only now the feedback is delayed. And that's why many of these women remain single for years, cycling between apps, breaks, self-justifications, and working on themselves, without ever addressing the core reason they're struggling in the dating market.
I finally decided it was time for me to start dating again. I've been out of a relationship for almost a year, and I'm ready. I very quickly realized and I hate that it's because of this that I feel this way, but why as a bigger girl, I was dreading being on a dating app again, because we are constantly objectified, and we are suddenly just things that are made for men's pleasure. We're dehumanized, and we're taken advantage of.
Dating as a fat woman is really hard. And I think one of the hardest things for me has been like trying not to catfish someone. You know, if I give just like a portrait shot like this, they don't really get a good sense of what my body looks like. And so in all of my dating profiles, I try to include at least one, generally two, like full size, full body shots, so that they know what they're getting themselves into. And one time, I remember this one date, this guy and I had been talking for like 3 months. He was a pilot. He flew internationally, and he would be stationed at different like Air Force bases and whatnot for like weeks at a time, and then he would come back. And so I gave him a little bit of grace for that. And I thought, okay, by the time we were finally able to meet up though, I was super excited. We had like mad chemistry via text, and I got all glammed up. I wore this super cute outfit, showed up at this bar, and he walked in, and the look on his face was just like,
Dang. Oh my God. That's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? But, and I feel a little empathy for them, but look, it could be hard for anybody to lose a substantial amount of weight, but it can happen. Yes, it could be hard, and it takes time, and it takes effort, and it takes, a lifestyle change, but it can happen. So that is something that you can change. But I think people, when you become accustomed to a certain way of living, you don't really want to do all of that to do that. You just want somebody to accept you for who you are. And if you're fortunate enough that you can find somebody who loves what you got going on, they don't care about your size, that would be great. But on the flip side, there are a lot of men, just like women have a preference, there are men who have preferences as well. And, it's unfortunate, but you can't change somebody's preference. They like what they like, just like women like what they like, and they don't want nobody to tell them to change it. That's the same way with men. You can never force a man to want a overweight or obese woman, or, a plus size woman, if that's just not what he's into. And apparently more men, even though there's some men who are attracted to plus size women, more men are not attracted to plus size women. They just not the same way most women are not attracted to plus size men. That's the thing. Most women are not attracted to big dudes. It's almost like with some women, they want you to lower your standards to take them on because they're struggling, even when they don't want to make any adjustments or changes for you. A lot of women try to make it empathetic or sympathetic and want men to say, hey, don't worry about my body. My body is just that, but who am I as a person? I'm a good person, and I get that. But some things you just can't force upon people. You can't force people to be attracted to something that they're not. And I mean, that's just what it is. That's just how it goes. Let's continue.
And then he just put on a fake smile. He didn't make eye contact with me the whole time. And I've never had that experience where I felt so unwanted and so ugly.
Maybe that's just not what he was expecting. Yeah, you guys may have had a lot of chemistry, but when he's seen you in person, he was probably shocked by your physique. Chemistry through text and phone calls can create a false sense of attraction. Words are easy. Energy is easy when there's no physical reality attached to it. But attraction isn't just emotional. It's visual and physical first, whether people like to admit it or not. So when he finally saw you in person, it wasn't about personality anymore. It was about alignment between what he imagined and what was actually in front of him. And if those two didn't match, the switch flipped instantly. That doesn't mean he lied, led you on, or wasted your time. It means expectations matter. A lot of women confuse chemistry with attraction. Chemistry can exist without attraction, but attraction rarely exists without physical appeal. And when there's a big gap between photos, angles, filters, or descriptions versus reality, the disappointment is immediate, even if the conversation was great.
So I just want to clarify. Dating as a plus-size woman is difficult in LA because people are not transparent. Like, I am always so confused. Here's an example. So there's a guy that I see at the gym all the time, and we finally started like kind of hanging out, and then we started going to the movies, and then we had dinner. But at no point has he expressed like romantic interest other than like we kind of hold hands sometimes, but like he hasn't made a move. And in my brain, I'm like, is he not making a move, like trying to kiss me or anything because he's just not into big girls? Because in the past, that is the case. So I'm just like confused.
Intentional weight loss, so you purposely saying, I want to lose 20 pounds, is fatphobic.
That is certainly a stretch, but whatever would lead a person to that conclusion?
And you might be like, what? Oh my goodness, I'm not trying to be fatphobic, but you are. You're being fatphobic to yourself.
How does that make any sense? Trying to lose weight is now considered to be, according to some, fatphobic to yourself. You can't make this up.
Why do you want to lose 20 pounds?
Since when does any person actually have to justify to another one, let alone a random stranger, why they want to lose weight?
It's probably to fit into something smaller. It's probably so people treat you better. It's probably for all the reasons that fat folks are shamed simply for being fat.
Listen, and what's wrong with that? I mean, look, I think this whole fat phobia thing is ridiculous. It's just, another excuse to for you to just not do anything to better yourself or your circumstances. This is crazy to me, and the mentality that comes along with it, where people want you to acquiesce to their feelings and what they think you should be doing and how you should be responding, like trying to force you to accept something you don't want to accept, as opposed to making changes yourself, making changes to yourself so that you can get a better outcome for you. And then they go and complain and want to shame people, but that still doesn't get you the outcome that you want. You can't make people be into a big person if they're not into big people. That's just what it is. And you can't shame them into doing so. And then when they find men who just be like, lying to them and making them think they want them just to, get something out of them, then they mad about that. So, I mean, look, my thing is this: if you want better, you got to do better. If you want a certain outcome, you have to put in the work. You can't just sit back and just do your same old routine and think that people are supposed to just, give you what you want just because you want it without putting in the work to get it. Look, you can't make men want big women, just like you can't make women want big men. You vice versa. You can't force somebody by trying to shame them into something that they just don't want. That's not their preference. So either try to find somebody whose preference you are, or do something to change your circumstances. That's what I'm saying. And I think a lot of times people make excuses because they don't want to put in the work to make the changes. So you got to find everything that you can to say, oh, it's fat phobic. Oh my God, this and that. People are this and that. That's still not going to get you the outcomes, because it still remains that the majority of men don't really take big women seriously. That's just what it is. It doesn't make you a bad person. They got a lot of good people who just may be overweight, good people, good-hearted people. But that is not enough when a man is looking for physical, intimate, long-term relationships. He wants something more. And once again, it doesn't make you a bad person, but you got to accept the fact that that's just what it is. That's not going to change. And so, everybody, if you want to get what you want, then why not do something that will benefit you and also help you get a better outcome as well? You know what I'm saying? Losing weight, if you're overweight, is a benefit to you. It helps you to be a healthier version of yourself. Then, you can look better and you can feel better about yourself, and others will see that as well. This is why when I used to talk about Lizzo was out here on this fat phobic thing and, talking about that as well and crying and unhappy with herself. And, saying she was happy in her body and all that, but always miserable and crying on social media. But then she finally did something about it. And then it seems like a totally different person. She starts to look happier and feel better. And we don't see her crying, like she was before. She feels good about herself. Losing that weight made her feel better about herself. Her clothes fit better. She just overall looked like a happier version of herself. And I think a lot of people are in denial about that because, once again, They don't feel that they have to make any changes just to please somebody. But how about do it for yourself first and understand that you will be happier with yourself too, which then that energy that you give off when you feel better about yourself will exude onto other people, and people will see you and see how you are and gravitate towards you because of, you know, the way the energy that you give off. You know what I mean? My thing is this: do you be happy with who you are? But if you're not, then it's up to you to make the changes. That's it. Don't try to shame people to accept you for who you are because you don't want to put in the work. Put in the work. If you want something more out of life, put in the work, and then you'll see the difference. But if you don't want to do that, well, you can't shame people to accept you or, you know, make people want to accept you where you are. So that's just my thoughts on that. I'm gonna leave it here. Comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. Make sure you share and like the video, all that good stuff, y'all. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.
DeeDeesReactions, videos and live plays. DeeDeesReactions, she's about to put on a show. DeeDeesReactions, just to let you know, like, share, subscribe. We about to go live.